Hello everyone and welcome to my first official video here on YouTube. I'm really excited to get into what we're doing today. Basically for the holidays I got some new art supplies. I got some really good watercolours which I am going to use for a quick paint with me. Today I'm going to be drawing one of my OCs, Daisy, and I'm going to yap a little bit about her. I'm going to talk a little bit about the watercolours and some of the other materials I will be using today. But yeah, let's just get into it. You've seen my introduction video. Cover's all finished. I have been using the sketchbook. It is getting pretty thick. I'm nearly halfway through. When this is done, I'm excited to do a sketchbook tour, but for now, I'm just going to turn to a fresh page and we can get right into that paint with me. Alright, got a clean, fresh page here, and I'm going to start just sketching out the base for what I am going to draw. Alright. So obviously I'm going to yap a little bit about my OC Daisy and as well as the watercolours and my opinion on them and how much I enjoyed them. But first I want to say how much I struggled doing this sketch. Because I've currently changed my art style a little bit in how I draw people, I'm also trying to change my art style and how I draw ponies. So it's very similar to how I draw humans because I used to draw them very, very differently. Ponies being a lot more cartoony and silly looking, and humans being very serious and grim, over exaggerated shadows, yada yada yada. And I've changed it so it's a lot softer but like semi-realism. So as you can see, I'm trying to get back kind of cartoony look out of it because this is how I'm used to drawing ponies, from like a kind of side-on profile, and it's not looking very good. I can do side profiles for ponies like really well. It's kind of like drawing a dragon but like not. But yeah, I was really, as you can see, my head's getting in the way, but I was like really struggling with drawing her face, and I just kind of started all over again because I was just getting pissed with it. In the end, I did kind of get the sketch to where I was happy with. I'm not 100% satisfied with how the sketch turned out, but I think it's cute. Looking back at it, I think I could have done better, but for now I'm happy that I've just got the sketch down. And it's not about really the sketch, it's about learning how to use the watercolours and experiencing the watercolours. And I wanted to add something in the space beside her, and I wasn't quite sure what to add in that little space beside her, so I drew some flowers, granted not very detailed ones, but I wanted to draw something to fill up the space. I probably said draw something in that space like 5 million times. So yeah, with that out of the way, I was just ready to get into it. With the sketch out of the way, I am now pulling out my watercolours, and I'll probably be pulling out some watercolour pencils too. I've got a blank page beside me where I'm going to do all my swatching to make sure that the colours are accurate. I've also done a thumbnail that you can't see it because of the camera angle, but yeah, I am going to get into the watercolours and the rendering of the sketch. These are my watercolours I am working with. They are the Winston & Newton brand, which I got for the holidays. I have used some of them with like practicing and a couple tree studies and some colour theory, but I haven't done like a proper fully rendered artwork with them yet, so this is going to be exciting to work with. Alright. I'm just going to be doing some like swatching real quick, that way I can get the colours accurate. Daisy's colour palette is very pink, green and yellow with a little bit of brown and blue. I'll put a reference of her up right now. This reference isn't exactly 100% accurate because it is a ponytail skin, and her design's a little bit different. She has a lot more piercings. She has a septum, She has both nostrils done. She has a bridge piercing. She also technically has a mullet and not a pixie cut. It looks like a mullet. It's hard to draw a pixie cut on a pony, but it is as close as I can get to a digital reference because I just don't do digital art. Anyway, I was swatching some watercolor pencils because I wasn't sure if I was going to use those as well. I think I ended up using one of them for like a little bit of detail, and a little bit for the eyes. But I didn't actually end up using my watercolor pencils. I ended up using mostly the watercolors. Alright, I think that I'm going to start talking a little bit about Daisy. So Daisy is one of my My Little Pony OCs, and she is both my persona, fursona, and ponysona. Can you tell I really like this character? So Daisy is a unicorn, if you can tell already, and she grew up in a small country town raised by her mother, father, and living with her twin brother. Her mother's side of the family is very confectionery and bakery and like sweets. They're all confectionists. They all run their own bakeries and like sweets businesses, and the father's side of the family is very horticulturalist, arborist, very plant-based, whatnot. For the first half of her childhood, she lived with her mother's side of the family, and she really thrived making sweets. She really liked to make sugar flowers, because she was so good at making sugar flowers and she had a real knack at it. That's how she got her cutie mark, which is 2 blue sugar flowers. At a young age, Daisy had like really long, lustrous hair, and like pretty much everyone just loved her hair. Her grandparents were always like, "Oh, look at them pretty golden locks," because she was originally blonde. However, over time her hair has gone brown. And Daisy, being basically me but a pink little horse, has a lot of sensory issues due to autism. So she was very uncomfortable most of the time, very kind of if that makes sense. So one day when she was like 10, she saw her father's razor, because he has like a beard, but he doesn't like having a very untamed beard, so he trims his beard. So she got his razor and just went bald. She shaved it all off. Her family was like, "No, why? You have such beautiful hair." And it was at this point where Daisy started realizing, wait, I don't like having long hair. I actually like having short hair. And this is going to be very important for some future information about Daisy. So Daisy's mother's side of the family is pretty conservative for a pony family. Very prim, proper, pure blood unicorns who were like, "Ugh, anything other than a unicorn is filthy." Like classic homophobic racists. So when Daisy started to show signs of having a queer identity, they were like, "Oh, no." Daisy is pansexual, but she also expresses her gender in a very androgynistic way, even though she is a cis woman. And her mother's side of the family were like, "You know what, no, we don't want that around." So they kind of just disowned her. And Daisy's mother, already kind of being a black sheep of the family for marrying outside of like a unicorn bloodline, she she was like, you know what, screw you guys. And she disowned her family, a lot of disowning. And basically they just packed up and left, and they went to go live with her father's side of the family. Daisy and her mother worked a lot with flowers in like her grandmother's florist shop. And here was where she discovered that she really loves like herbal medicine and like floral fragrances. And because at the time she was shaving her hair, she didn't have any set hairstyle, she just wanted it all gone. She really took her co-care very seriously, so she started buying like skincare products, if you could call them that, like shampoos, conditioners, soaps, body scrubs, etc. And this is where she got her love for just soaps. So she was like, wait a minute, I have all the stuff I need to make my own. So she starts to make her own soaps. She's around halfway through her teen years at this time, and she's like, actually, I really enjoy making soaps. So she pursues this as a career path. She becomes a soap maker, and she does markets and whatnot, and she's pretty darn good at it too. As she grows older and kind of makes a name for herself, she becomes a lot more happier with who she is and her life. And she really shows it with how vibrant her coat comes out and how much just happier she seems. And she comes to a part in her life where she's confident enough with herself to let her hair grow out just a little bit. So here comes the mullet. Atrocious, I know. Speed forward a little bit more. In her early adult years is when she meets her partner, Caramel Clay. But that is a discussion for another video when I discuss their law and his law. A little bit more about Daisy. She's very kind of shy and quiet, but she's also kind and sweet, just a typically good person. She has a pet scorpion named Morpheus, and likes to collect taxidermy and dead things. And those are just a couple other things about her character. As I continue to make more videos and like yap a little bit more about my OCs, you will learn a lot more about her, but that's just base information for now. And I think it's time to stop talking about Daisy and start talking about the watercolours. So I want to go off the bat and just say that I have very little experience with watercolours. When I have used watercolours in the past, it always has been for like abstract backgrounds in mixed media, portraits, or blocking out or doing a solid background in like sketchbook pages to stop lead from smudging. I have done some watercolour paintings. I have done tree studies before doing this work, but other than the bare minimum, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I know that I really need to learn colour theory for working with watercolours, but for now I'm just using value and water control to get like that dynamic with the colours. But yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm kind of winging it. I don't know what I am doing, okay? I'm sorry. But the watercolours were lovely to work with. I quite enjoyed using these watercolours. They were very bright, very vibrant, very colourful. They do have a wide range of colours, which I quite enjoy. I just like the material in general. Like, it's not too hard to work with. It's quite spreadable, if that makes sense. It moves nicely on the paper, even though the paper isn't watercolor paper. I think the only thing I didn't like was how opaque the watercolors are, but that's just the material itself. Watercolors are meant to be very opaque, but I am keeping that in mind for next time I use watercolors and whatnot, because I really enjoy watercolors and I need to understand them a lot more if I'm going to continue to use them. But yeah, mostly positive stuff. It was easy and really fun to work with. Very bright, vibrant and colourful. I didn't need a lot of pigment to get a lot of paint. I could put like the smallest amount of pigment in with like the biggest lot of water and I would still get like a very dark, rich colour, which I quite loved. My only problem was when it would get to like the butter consistency, which is less water and more pigment, which typically gives it a darker colour to the paint. It was a little bit sticky to work with, but again, that's not in the watercolours, that's just watercolours in general and how pigment works. I think overall I have one actual complaint for the watercolour brand, and that was the lack of purple. I'm not using purple in this spread, but I really do enjoy purple in general. We do have a lot of like reds and magentas and like blue, which I can use to mix up purple, but there was like 3 purple colours. But that's my only real complaint about this watercolour brand. Other than that, these were probably the funnest materials that I have used in a long while. I just wish I knew how to use them, because I'm pretty sure once I get an understanding on how to use watercolours, it's going to be a lot easier for me to use them. Anyway, I don't have much else to yap about, so I'm just going to let you guys finish watching the speed paint. Alright, so I've just got to do this bit, and I think I'm just going to do it with some like ink and ink wash. So I'm just going to do this off camera because the video is getting long. Alright, with that drawn, I'm just going to add some last couple details like sticking in some flowers, some washi tape, and I will be back with the final results. I just want to say that this spread was really fun to make. It's very cute, it's very colourful and vibrant, and it's very much Daisy inspired. At first I didn't like it, but after looking at it long enough, it has really grown on me. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you've come this far, thank you so much for watching all of it. If you want, you can like, subscribe, comment, all that YouTube talk, but for now, thank you for watching.